we do have a charity base, so when someone that's, skeptical or doesn't go to church or is not a believer, they come, they're always waiting to see, okay, what's the catch? What's this Christian thing all about? There's no catch. It's like you come, everything we're doing is selfless. You can never say, well, you're doing it for the money, or this is this organization, or it's a right-wing Republican, anti-this, it's nothing. It's just guys and girls that love God and are doing everything they can because they have a heart to see people get saved. But we know that when you walk that fine line, it's very, again, they're waiting for the moment that they can walk away and say, I knew they wanted something from me. That's the stereotypical mindset towards American Christians. Oh, they want my money, they want this, they're hypocrites. And in us knowing that, and even in seeing that and believing that myself in a lot of ways, we have to just be so broken and vulnerable and be honest with them. So these guys come up and they share their stories of drug addiction to sex addictions, anything, suicidal thoughts, to just being honest. And these people are so, they're not used to that. They're not used to real guys going out there and girls saying, dude, I'm screwed up. I'm jacked, but I found God's grace, and it's so overwhelming that it's driving me to keep searching after this Jesus. It's real, you know what I mean? And people, they're eating it up because it's such a raw movement. It's not an organization. It's nothing but selfless. It's nothing but Jesus. And I think these kids are seeing it, and they know they're in desperate times. And we're not claiming to have, it all figured out. We're saying we're walking this walk just like you are. And in a real world, we all don't work in the church, or we're not hidden in four walls all the time. If I could do that, I probably wouldn't anyway, because God has sent me to go out into the world, And so are these guys, but their heart of hearts is they're broken, and they love people. And if you read Scripture and you believe there's a heaven and a hell, you believe there's salvation, and if you believe in heaven, hell, and sin and death, then your heart should break and it should cry out, because there are kids around us in this evil world that are going to hell. That's just the bottom line. And we can no longer afford to sit in our churches and hide away from a world that needs Jesus. And if you're willing to do that, then you need to accept the fact that you're going to pick up your cross just like Jesus did, and you're going to die for the cause. That's true Christianity, and these kids need to see it. They need to know something to die for before they can live for it. These kids are extreme, and when you give them raw Jesus, Scripture, gospel Jesus, these kids are down. They don't want the phony, weak, fake, hypocrite, hiding. They want Jesus, raw Jesus.
Now, we were just talking before, Sonny, about the pressures on the road. You're always travelling, you're on airplanes, you're living out of a suitcase. How do you guys stay close to Jesus in the middle of the hectic schedule you have? What do you do to stay close to God? Lacey?
Well, there's a lot of stuff involved with that, and I think it's the same thing you would do if you weren't in that situation. A lot of times except it's, I think, a lot more subtle when you're at home and going to church all the time. When you go away from Jesus, you think that you're still close to him because you're in a religious environment, but that's not always true, So it's the same situation, if the way that you would have a relationship with any person, if you don't talk to somebody for a while, your relationship changes. If you don't, find out about your friend and figure out how to just be friends. That's kind of like the thing. Jesus is our friend. He also our bridegroom, and that's easy for me to understand as a woman. It's kind of weird for a guy, but he's our father. You spend time and you learn from him. You sit at his feet, like Sonny always says. You sit at his feet. And that's just your individual, walk. That's always, you can always come back to that. I don't know how many times I had to say to somebody after a Flyleaf show, who's been following us around on tour, and particularly I'm thinking of a certain girl that follows us around on tour, and when she's gone as far as she's able to go for whatever reason, she starts crying and she says, I I need to come to your shows because I just feel something so amazing here. I feel like God's here, you know. And I try to tell her, you know, you can experience that in your bedroom, you know, if you just sit by yourself and just turn your heart to God. He so waits for that moment to just wrap his arms around you and speak to your heart. You don't need to, you know, you don't need to always have someone else telling you what Jesus wants to say to you himself. That's, you know, there's a digestive system, you know, like it's coming regurgitated, I guess, a little bit when I say it to you. But when you read the Bible for yourself, you can hear what he's saying in your heart. When you sit still and listen for his voice, you know, you can hear him speaking in your heart. And I tried to explain that to her, and she was later on, I remember her saying, I'm starting to realize that life is about the time in between the Flyleaf shows too. I was like, that's good.